Can't breathe through the nose. That's going to make the post-game hookah really hard. That's a tough spot.
I'm surprised Luka got it done.
No. Like, here's the thing. If you can be legendary before you win a title, before you know what I mean, have been in the league long enough to be a legend.
Are we going legend status?
Well, no, that's what I think. Bruce, hearing me on this, I'm saying if you can be, if you have access to that word or terminology, he is a legendary playoff performer. As far as a guy who, without being in the league long enough to have enough pelts on the wall, every time we see him in the postseason, he's unbelievable. He is, for his career in the playoffs, 32, 9, and 8. There's only 3 guys in league history that are 25, 6, and 6. Him, Joker, and LeBron. 2 certified legends in him. So remove the rebounds and assist part of it. What does 32 points per game in the playoffs mean? It means he's one of 2 guys to be at 30. It's the ultimate legend in Michael Jordan, an icon in Iverson, what some people think is the best scoring forward of all time in Durant, Jerry West, who went to 9 finals, and LeBron James. Those are the guys.
That's nice how you made it at 28 so you could get.
I didn't do 28. I just said top 6. I didn't know who the 6th was. A lot of people do top 5s. I said do top 6.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't do 28 points. I just know where it was. Also, as it happens, it's just a great list. I don't know. Talk to Josh about that. But this was inevitable. And Dallas is the better team. Luka is by far the best player in the series. And in my opinion right now, the only guy who has an argument for that with him is Kyrie, for how Kyrie has played, thus far this series. And I'll tell you this much, Brew. I firmly believe this Mavs team is ending up in the conference finals at least.
Could be.
And so the Nuggets, Timberwolves is going to be a brutal series, and we'll discuss that, I'm sure, more tomorrow. I know you, but I think Brew might pick the Timberwolves. I don't know. And so, but I think that
I'm not just doing it for the show.
Yeah, I think the Mavs can absolutely close this series out in 6 and beat the Thunder because they got up 3-2 with Luka, in my opinion, only having 1 excellent game so far these playoffs.
I'm with Nick in that I'm not surprised. Luka Dončić, I will not go. I think he hasn't had enough playoff games to put him on that list. I think that number will probably come down a little as he, plays more games. But he's an all-time great. He's one of those, like I say, Shohei Ohtani's the best baseball player ever. But he's not the GOAT, you know what I mean? Sure. You got to do it for longer. Luka Dončić, now I know the top 10 is getting crowded, right?
Getting crowded.
But he is a guy that when it's all said and done and his career is over, he should be in that discussion.
Wow.
I think he's that good. I'm not saying he'll crack it because, again, that top 10 is getting awfully crowded.
Yeah.
But he is good enough where he should be in that conversation.
Do you think he could finish as one of the 3 best offensive guys ever? Because that's what I think. I don't know how much we're going to ding him on the defense.
But he's even starting to play defense.
That's right.
And so guys that are in that conversation, Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Steph, Kareem, they do this. Yes. They do this every once. When they're hurt, when they got a cold, the flu, whatever, they come through with big postseason moments. So Luka did that. So that's number 1. Number 2, he is now at the stage of his career where he understands the individual numbers and accolades are nice. That's what you want to do initially. Establish that you're a superstar. But then you won't get the respect you covet and deserve until you start winning. And getting, like, every year you're in that hunt.
Yes.
And so that's, I think, why he's playing better defense. And so, no, I'm not surprised. I mean, the dude is great. He just got to start winning, and this is the first step.
Okay, this from NBA.com. Historically, Game 5 winners, 2-2 series advance 83% of the time. Do you think it's just over next game?
Well, listen, I thought I went into this series feeling the Mavs are the far better team. I think they have the best player. I think they were playing better. And they don't have anyone they're deeply relying on who's one of the most notorious playoff choke artists in league history.
You're talking about Paul George?
So, no, and listen, Paul George has
he got a few pelts on the wall in that regard.
Yeah, Paul George has some really high highs postseason moments, but also some really tough ones. And I know we'll get into Harden in a moment. Before we move on from Dallas, I do want to say one thing. This is the best I've ever seen Kyrie Irving play. And you talked about Luka playing being more dedicated on the defensive end. I'm seeing that from Kyrie too. And Kyrie is the leadership, vocal, the winning plays. He had a Joker-esque. There was a loose ball, and he just kind of pinged. You know what I mean? Tapped. It was a great play. Kyrie has this season, to his credit, there has been zero of the off-court stuff from Kyrie, and on-court he has been as available as I think he's ever going to be able to. He's not going to be an 80-game guy.
At least since he was with LeBron.
Correct.
I mean, he played obviously great with LeBron, but yeah, he's playing phenomenal.
And I think is the veteran leader of the team. As we were talking about, in 2 weeks, he could be the oldest star left in these playoffs.
Yeah.
Or in 1 week, actually. And he's playing like it. And he deserves a ton of credit because early it wouldn't have been 2-2 if Kyrie hadn't played so well earlier in this series.
No doubt.
3 points, shooting 60%, and 3-point, I mean, that's ridiculous, 63% from 3. In the losses, averaging less than 17, shooting less than 40. And 32% from 3. This is a fun one from Josh. He hit the front rim / airballed 4 of 7 3-point attempts last night. One was kind of a end of the shot clock, but I thought that was a cold ad from Josh there. Are you putting this on Harden?
Josh really freestyling, adding LeBron to my graphic, putting that on yours. Doing a lot of stuff here.
There's a lot of blame to go around. Paul George, 4 of 13. Russell Westbrook, 2 of 11. But yes, the biggest, now I can't even say they definitely, like if you get a great Harden game, do they win? I don't know.
No,
Obviously Dallas is really good.
Yeah.
But this right on time, and I've been saying he's been playing well, his body language, and I will say this, I didn't really see some of the tentative body language or running from the ball that I've seen in the past. But at the end of the day, you took only 12 shots. You got your best player, Kawhi Leonard, on the bench, Westbrook, who's obviously now just a role player off the bench, and Paul George is struggling, and you only get up 12 shots, and it's not like, oh, he kept getting fouled. He had 2 free throw attempts.
No,
so I don't understand it with James Harden. I haven't seen a player this good. It's got to be mental. When he was a young player in OKC and they went to the finals against Miami, remember, he was great in the postseason, 17 points a game as a third guy, and he gets in the finals, 12 points a game, plays poorly, and everybody's killing him. I was like, man, he's young.
That's how
he's going to be fine, right? But time after time after time in the big games, last year against Boston, he has 2 40-point games.
2 of the best playoff games of his career.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't get hurt. Nothing weird happens. The only thing that happened is the stakes changed.
Right. And then in game 6 and 7, the stakes change. He averages like 11 points.
It's terrible.
On 30% shooting. So I don't know what it is, but it's clearly got to be a mental block or something.
So listen, Brew gives me a hard time for this, understandably, because when Brew and I first started working together, 6 years ago was really when this was, 7 years ago, when Harden and CP3 were together with the Rockets. I was probably one of the most prominent James Harden defenders. And the argument I made is, man, he was the 6th man on OKC and a kid. Can we not hold that against him? And then the argument I made was, guys, he can't beat the Golden State Warriors. Nobody can beat the Golden State Warriors. And so I think so, and I really felt that way. I was like, he is such a great regular season player, and he's had some bad postseason luck.
Sure.
The problem is, every single postseason since then, there have been things. There was the game against the Spurs when Kawhi was out, where he was 2 for 11. There was the 1 for 10 with the Nets against Giannis. There were games 6 and 7 last year. There's last night. If he hadn't missed that last 3, this would have been his 5th career exactly 2 for 11 playoff game. So if we show you some numbers from last night and then historically, so last night, look at that bottom line. That's the 23rd time he has more field goal attempts than points in a playoff game.
Wow.
23. Okay.
That's weird.
Take 10 plus shots and only make 2 or 3 of them. How many times has he done that? 10 times where he's made 2 or fewer. 17 times he's only made 3 or fewer. Both are the most in NBA history. To juxtapose that, Brew, with these facts, not only does he have more first-team All-NBAs than Steph, 6 to 4, He has more first-team All-NBAs than every guard in league history other than Kobe, Cousy, West, Michael, Oscar, Magic. The Basketball Reference does MVP award shares, basically. You know what I mean? Where because he's come in second so many times. He's 12th amongst all players ever in MVP award shares. He averaged 35 points combined in consecutive seasons. He has 3 scoring championships, 2 assist titles. His regular season resume is of an unquestioned Brew top 20 all-time player.
No
unquestioned. Put his regular season resume next to Dwayne Wade's. It's a rout.
Not even close.
But then what made Wade Wade? Wade from the very beginning got even better in the playoffs until his body betrayed him. This shouldn't have shocked anybody. And this is why I go back to, and I'm sorry to harp on this, but Brew is just so lucky he had excellent children. Because he would have let them always get away with it. This will be the time they change. This will be the time they make curfew. This will be the time the car doesn't get dinged.
I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I really was. And last night even, if you notice, his handle was shakier than usual. He lost it a couple times. It wasn't terrible, obviously, but not like usual. It's bizarre. It is. I can't think of a player this good.
No.
That's had now Karl Malone had some bad moments in the playoffs, but nothing like this. I mean,
nothing like this.
So
it's hard to explain.
So to his defense, and I'll try to say something. Kyrie also went 1 for 7 from 3. And I could argue, if you look at Kyrie's threes, that he were like stepping into open threes and just missing them. I know he's affecting me, but they both went
as
1.
Great as Kyrie is, he hasn't done what James Harden.
So here's the question:
and been the number 1 guy.
A lot of his stuff's ISO, a guy on him, step back. Do you put anything on Ty Lue to be like, hey man, can I get some easy ones? Can we run something for me?
No, because
to get an easy mid-range look or an open
they're doing the same things they've done in all these other games in this series.
The
and he was
problem
great.
is when you go through his Basketball Reference playoff game log, you don't see these games in a game 1. You only see them in and you know when you see
5,
a lot of his
6,
best
7.
games. Down 3-0 game 4. He has cooked some of those games. There are spots where it is, I don't want to say it is directly, but if it were a graph, you would see a pretty easy correlation in this direction, I guess, between stakes of the game and Harden performance. And 2 other things on this, one on Harden, one on Russ. One is, to be fair to Brew, he's not the only one that wanted to believe. If you remember the day the Harden trade happened, BPI, ESPN's thing, said they were the clear-cut favorites to win the title.
That's insane.
Vegas had them as third all year. People have really wanted to believe in this team.
But here's the thing. When this team came together, the feeling was it was Kawhi, number 1, Paul George, number 2, and Harden would be the point guard distributing. You could have survived a game like this if Kawhi's there and plays well.
Yeah, but
I mean, you can't rely on that either.
Well, not
it's like the most predictable
that's
team.
That's what I mean. Perk said that Harden's one of the least predictable guys. He tweeted it, and I responded to him. I was like, I actually think he's the most predictable. and then
he said Perk and Paul George.
He said Harden and Paul George exactly. And I'm not taking a shot. I just disagree with him on that. And then there is this. And now, to be fair, I don't know if someone in the crowd maybe shouted Westbrook and it totally threw off his mental state for the game. But Russ for 4 games. We can show you the number. I mean, Dallas's strategy is let Russ cook.
Yeah.
That has been Dallas, and he's
getting wide open threes.
Wide open threes,
by design.
Out of control, trying to semi-fight with Luka, doing a lot of stuff that is playing directly into the Mavs' hands. And there's an element of I respect the fact that he sacrificed the money and did that, but he also on the court, the way he interacts with Luka, the shots he chooses to take, carries himself as if I'm still one of those guys, and in which case you can't be shooting 15% for 4 games. You just can't.
He's kind of reached the criticism-free zone, unfortunately. It's the worst thing. It's like what you said about Zion.
It's just not expecting a lot from him. Yeah, I mean, when he does something great, it's like, oh, wow, look at Westbrook.
When he's averaging 4 points.
You don't expect.
But I think that, and
fair.
that's where, and I think Ty Lue's a great coach, but I think that if you're Ty Lue before Game 6 has to have a tough conversation with Russ.
Stop shooting threes?
Stop shooting at all. You're playing it, you're open for a reason, man. It's killing us.
Russ is I wouldn't go to Russ is as bad as he shot, he's critical to that team for his energy.
That's why I'm saying
there's
can't bench
nobody
him.
else that brings that type of energy among the top players.
That's my point. That's why it's not as simple as you're not playing.
Right.
Yeah. They need him to play. I agree with you, but
I get my energy from shooting.
Right. No.
Perfect answer. Celtics win 4-1.
It is a great answer.
4-1.
Yeah. Well, don't.
Here we go.
Oh, bro. Oh, you know what time it is. Oh, the music.
I had no idea. Nick and I had no idea this was coming.
It's a nice, calm evening in Boston.
It's cool.
You want to?
Oh, heat culture. How'd that
you
work
got
out
it
for you?
too?
No, I don't. I was going to give him a pipe to smoke.
You have one?
Well, I have a vape if it'll help you.
Well, vapes aren't quite looking for, bro. It's the 4-1 gentleman's sweep, something or nothing.
Well, I'm going to get a little animated.
Okay.
Thank you, bro.
I
appreciate that.
First of all, love the sweater, Jason. I don't think I could pull it off.
I think you
could.
could.
I do too.
I think
it's
you
fresh on
could,
him.
and if anyone knows where that sweater came from, send us the info. I'll get you that sweater.
Oh, wow.
It would look great
Thank
on
you, Nick. I got to say this. I'm impressed with the Celtics. Y'all know that I'm a little skeptical. Even as I've picked them to get to the finals, I've been a little skeptical. But this was impressive because they showed the mental toughness and consistency I wasn't sure they had. I get it, Miami's without Jimmy Butler. We know they lost Kristaps Porzingis to the Celtics. But Miami's Miami. Heat culture is heat culture. All right, as depleted as they were, because Haka is too. Like, still, you got to beat the Heat. And they blasted them in all 4 games.
Yep.
All 4 games were incredible blowouts. And so I liked it. And Derek White, man, we all know he's a great defender.
Yep.
But when Porzingis went out, since he's been out, he's averaged like 31 points a game on darn near 60% shooting. They're going to need him to continue to play that well offensively or maybe not 30 a game, but still play well offensively. They got Cleveland or Orlando. They got an easy road. All right. And they just got to keep rolling. Yeah, right. Keep rolling through these teams because none of them. And they could be rested for the finals, which they're going to need if they.
Well, I don't think they're going to be rested for the finals. I do think they'll be rested for the conference finals. I think the conference finals is going to be a hard matchup no matter who they get. But to be fair, classic 3 by me. After Miami won Game 2, I said this thing's going to go 6. I said Miami's going to get one more, but that's why I thought Game 2 mattered.
Yeah,
was because now the series extends. Someone else. And instead Miami or Boston, just like you said, blasted them the next 3 games, and now, and this is to their credit, they got the 1 seed, locked it up early, and now that is paying rewards. Nothing against Cleveland or Orlando, but I think that series is going to go 7. Whoever comes out of it is going to be beat up and exhausted. And then Boston doesn't have to rush Kristaps back.
Right.
Like Kristaps now, I don't think will play a game until the conference finals.
That's exactly what they need.
Which is exactly what they need. Yep. And so I think. And
so when he comes back, he's fully healthy.
Right. You know, Solius is. Nobody does.
No, but credit to them, man. Like, they took care of business. You lose 1 game, it's fine.
Let's hit the brakes on the heat culture stuff for a while, huh? Can we take a little break on that for a while?
Well, I mean,
about to be fawning over how great the Heat are, getting the 8th seed, and winning
they were in the
game.
finals last year.
Oh my goodness gracious!
They were without their best player.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, now
maybe treat the regular season a little more serious, so we don't have to just wait in the playoffs and win.
What they need to
Any
do
other
is
team
get
wins 1 game,
players.
they get ripped. The Heat win 1 game.
Well, they need to get. They're the 8th seed.
That's what I'm saying. They're the 8th seed because they don't take the regular season seriously.
They need to get better players.
That's
what they need.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.